So this is going to be really overwhelming because as I traveled through Uganda, I jotted down a note for everything that I wanted to be able to remember. So when I sat down, and I just wrote down one word in the line. So then when I started putting this together, and I thought, there's 70 topics here. Oh my goodness, you know. And if somebody had read all 70 of these to me before I went, I would have said, I don't think I could do that. That might be too much. But really, it's just things for thought provoke. Some of it is pretty serious, but most of it's just thought-provoking things, right? So let's start with number 1. Attitudes. We're not the end all coming. So when you go, you're probably going to learn more than you bring to them. So the attitude in going is, how can I give? And how can I bless? I have been to the mission field or been in the mission field when people came, and they came as the Great White Hope. They weren't. And so when we go, we are not the Great American Checkbook. We're not any of that. We're going to bless. Okay? Comments. To be really careful about your comments, because sometimes you just make a comment like, wow, boy, that looks bad, you know, or whatever, and it hurts the host's feelings. So you have to be sensitive about some things, and it can be the most innocent of comments. And an example is when I was in Uganda, we'd been there for 2 full weeks, and on the 3rd week, just a few days before we left, it's probably 3 or 4 days before we left, we were in Kampala to pick up a couple of things for Moses and Tusimi, and there was a great African coffee shop or something like that. It was the only coffee shop we'd seen while we were there. And we'd been drinking coffee every single day. And one of the people I was with said, finally, a good cup of coffee. And they were not meaning to be negative. They were not meaning to be hurtful, but I saw it on the host's face. And it was. You know, so even those kind of comments, you'll have to be more aware, but also it will make you a more aware Christian when you come home, because you'll be more sensitive in the spirit to the people around you. Hand sanitizer is a necessity. Bring a whole bunch of little bottles, or one big one and some little ones, and refill. And seriously, after you lay hands on a whole bunch of people that have skin disease, in Moses' church, the lady is right there with her back to the people. Squirt, 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 you know. But the water there is really bad where they go to the river. So a lot of them have sores all over them, particularly the street kids. And a lot of street kids come into the church. They'll hear the music and they come running. So after every time of laying on hands, I mean, you got babies snotting all over you and everything else, hand sanitizer is important. But you don't want to do it for instance, in the Kingdom Church, there was none of that. So that was a very aside thing. It wasn't just, you know. So it's something you need to be sensitive about, but you need to have. Anointing oil. You need to carry anointing oil. If you have a small bottle, take a larger bottle with you to refill, because these people love it. They know there's power in that. They know what it brings. They know what it does, probably more than we do, and they are up to be anointed. The last day we were there when we preached in Mumbende, there was 400 people that wanted to be anointed before we left. Wow. So you're going to want to bring anointing oil. It's really hard if only one person has a bottle this big. Now the bottle I took this big never ran out. And we used it for 3 weeks. And so, but, you know, that was my bad. But so we're all trying to get some, you know, each time for every 3 people or something. So you want to bring that. Dual electricity. So you want to make sure that the things that you take, if you take anything electric, actually has dual electricity. And when you buy, and if you buy a converter to use, you need to make sure it's for Ugandan electricity. Because you can get some for Japan, you can get it for England, you can get it for all these different places, but you need to make sure it says Uganda on it, so that when you get there, you can actually use it, okay? Wipes. You'll want to take some. Okay, enough said on that. So there's going to be new types of praise. If praise and worship is your calling, you're going to bring music. You're going to need to have your music done. You're going to need to have it printed. If you need an instrument, you're going to need to take it with you. I think they might have a keyboard. Do not plan on electricity. There's more days without than there is with. That's why you have to take everything you need printed. If the Lord starts giving you a message, get it typed up, get it printed before you go. I was just going to take my messages in Dropbox, and right before I left, the Lord said, you better print them. And I had felt that all along. I needed to take them, and I thought, maybe I will. Yeah, I would have been without. I would have been rewriting. Okay. And well, it gave me mostly new messages anyway, but I would have had to rewrite the ones I did use. So there'll be new kinds of praise. It won't be the same as what we do. You will bring new praise in. They expect you to sing no matter what your voice is. And their music is completely different. But it will set your feet to dancing, for sure. And if you don't, it will be offensive, okay? They want you to participate. You know how people will sit here and they'll be very reserved and they won't participate, and you think, well, that's offensive. They want you to participate. And there's lots of specials. I mean, people come up and there's a lot of singing specials, and if you hoop and holler in it and you are excited about what they're doing, they will pour out to you. It's awesome.